I'm always inspired right off the bat when I find a super interesting and texturally rich sample. It's like a piano part, but it's lo-fi. Kind of sounds like there's some FM bells in the background. And I just looped that. And then I layered this synth from my Korg mini log on top in the stereo field. It's a great way to jump right in from the start, is to just find a cool sample you're excited about and manipulate it a little bit to make it your own, chop it up and loop it, and add in some texture. It's a good place to start with sound design if you want to make your own sounds to put into existing beats or samples. On to the rhythmic part. This is sick. It's simple. It's not too complex, but it's intricate in that it's textural and there's a lot going on. Real quick off the bat, we have a kick track. Got some 808 elements mixed in there. And here's our hi-hat track. We've got a little bit of a delay send. That's without it. Bring in the delay a little bit to give us a bit of a shuffle. It's important again to use texturally rich samples. We've got this kind of like whisper of high frequency in the background of the hi-hat. And don't be afraid to use stuff that doesn't sound like it belongs, that's not super clean. That's what makes music interesting, is those little imperfections. So yeah, that hi-hat and the kick track, that keeps things driving. I have an extra percussion track here that I started up just as a snare track, but I threw in some of those 808 kicks in there. Maybe for mixing, it's not like the best in terms of if you're keeping it all on one track, but for writing, it's a perfect place to start because you can hear how that integrates with the main kick track. All my percussion for this whole piece is just 3 tracks. It's just some lo-fi effect with a bit crusher that I put on the whole mix. I would even say this could use like a ride cymbal. Let's throw something in there. My track 6 is empty. I love this plant music sample pack. That's where I got the chord sample from. That's a nice cymbal we can work with. This is gonna sound bonkers. Yeah, we gotta tune things up a little bit here. All right, bring that volume down. See, even volume just like makes a crazy difference. Mix it a little bit to the right. Let's put a slight LFO on the pitch. Like super light. Yeah. All right, actually let's see, where's our hi-hat? Where's our hi-hat in the mix? Because I want to put the ride on the opposite side, even if it doesn't make sense in the context of like a drum kit. There we go. Yeah, that's nice and easy. Just like super simple, low key. I might even mix it a little lower. Yeah, nice. It rides underneath everything. Keeps it moving along, fills in some space. It's another thing you want to do is give yourself space always in the frequency spectrum. You don't want to overcrowd your mix. You want to give yourself room for things to breathe and for any other elements you want to add. You don't want to be in a position where you feel like you want to add something, but everything is too crowded already. Before we keep going, I want to give a huge thanks to DistroKid for sponsoring this video.
In case you're somehow not familiar, DistroKid is a digital music distribution service that musicians use to put music into online stores and streaming services. You know, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music. DistroKid will collect earnings and payments and track them for each of your releases, and they distribute and send 100% of these earnings to artists, minus any banking fees or applicable taxes. The upload interface is as simple as it could get, really. You basically check the boxes of where you want the music to go. You can select songs or an album, and then you just upload album art and put in the song information and you're good to go. It's an incredibly useful tool for independent musicians, and I've used it to release all of the music that I've put out myself. If you use my link in the description of this video, you can get 7% off of your first year of membership with DistroKid. As always, thanks DistroKid.
So you got to experiment with effects. That's a huge thing that got me into synths in the first place, and the Octatrack is great for this because it has the crossfader. You can set up scenes like I did with that lo-fi effect, but it also has a cue output and you can route effects and put them back in as an insert into one of the tracks. You can do this in a DAW super easily. Just use plugins. If you're using any hardware synths, just plug them into an effects pedal. I'm using the Octatrack today, but you can do any of this with any sampler, sequencer, beat making devices, a DAW, what have you. So here's the main chord progression sent to the Chase Bliss Gen Loss Mark II. Gives it a different feel. See? It's kind of like a built-in filter, right? And you can bring shit back in and keep the effects and in the mix too. It's super fun to do this with percussion too. Let me mute some of these tracks so you can hear. So that's our hi-hat sent to the cue. Mixed in with the rest of the beat. Let's take our ride and send it to. Yeah, like, I don't know, that's super cool. Totally different feel, right? And then you can mix in the dry. It's sick. I love the Octatrack because it's super easy to set up signals like this. But again, just like use plugins, create duplicate tracks, mess around and experiment. There are no rules. So the takeaways: start with an interesting sample, something that gets you excited. Make a basic groove. Don't get too crazy. Keep things simple, but then make them intricate so that they're interesting. You don't want to overcrowd things, but you want to put a bit of complexity and a little bit of an unexpected twist on what you might normally do. That, combined with using unique and interesting effects, can change a whole lot from a regular 4-on-the-floor beat. Mix in elements that you wouldn't expect to with a single track. Limit yourself in a way to a certain number of tracks on a piece of hardware like this, so you have to do that. It's a fun challenge and you'll come up with new things guaranteed. Do all my beats follow all of these rules? No, of course not, but most of my beats follow most of these rules. And I find keeping these few things in mind really helps me get going quickly. And when I create something that I'm super interested and excited about from the beginning, it makes me want to keep going and turn that beat into a song. Catch you in the next one. Peace.